It's been a rough day already. I went to bed at 4 and woke up at 8 to call my aunt, which I felt bad waking her up, but then she said my cousin called her at like 5, and I was like, what? Did she not know what time it was? Anyway, she came to get me and go make the arrangements, and that was really difficult. It was extremely difficult to hand her over and know that what I'll get back is ashes. Because the whole time we were making the arrangements, I was petting her because I wanted to get in as many pets as I could. And I'm about to stop crying. I don't know what happens when we pass. Part of me wants to know. Like, I want the answer. I think a lot of people want the answer, as long as it's an answer that you're good with, right? Like, the scary thing to me is not the idea of hell. Because I don't know how many, I don't think I would go there. Purgatory, I don't know. The scary thing is to think of myself as a wick in a candle, and to think of every life as a wick in a candle. And when the wick is gone, it's just gone. Like, there's nothing. I'd like to think that our souls stick around for a while. Maybe we try to communicate, kind of like in the book What Dreams May Come, which, if you watch the movie and the book are enough different that it's worth doing both. Because the book talks about him actually getting his kid to write, "I am still here," or something like that. Like, I like the idea that I could exist in some way when my body passes. I'd like to believe that the soul goes somewhere. I'd like to believe that the soul goes somewhere, whether it's a place like in What Dreams May Come, a place that you build yourself. You get to look however you want to look, and you can live in a Van Gogh painting if that's your idea. I like that. I like the idea of souls living like that and eventually getting to choose to come back. I like the idea of, if you do things right, you come back as a better being. And as much bad as what happens in the world, you kind of ask yourself when the bad stuff is happening, because traumas cannot be compared. But when things are really, really bad, you ask yourself, what the hell did I do in my past life to deserve this? Like, haven't I suffered enough? Like, at a certain point in your life, if you've had a lot of trauma, you ask yourself, haven't I suffered enough? Like, I don't want to pass on. That's not the way that I say, haven't I suffered enough? It's, you know, when's the tide gonna turn? Like, haven't I earned the turn of a tide? So even after I knew Lexi was gone, I can't tell you how many times I opened up that tote and petted her, cried over her, said the Irish prayer to her, you know, told her how much I love her. Because there's always the chance that they linger. And the things that you never said to them, or the things that they never felt, or the things that you felt you didn't convey, you're doing that at that moment. I mean, as somebody who is, like, I'm insecure, I don't often know if I'll fit in someone's life or where I'll fit or if I matter. Like, I ask myself all the time, do I fucking matter? And I mean, I know I matter to some people, and I don't question it. Like, there are people in my life, which I call my support base. I know I matter to them. I know that they call to check up on me, or they text me, or whatever. I know that if I called them and said, I'm having a really bad day, I need people around me to distract me, they would show up. I would not ask them to leave work to do that, but that's because, you know, part of being a person who everybody shows up for, you have to be mindful of how often you ask, or at least I feel that way, that I have to be mindful of not every little thing is a crisis, you know, so careful with how many times you ask for their help or ask for their support. But I do like to think that some part of them, like if the soul is not like a wick, that they recognize how much you love them. And even in some cases, maybe that is your opportunity to tell them how much you hated them. You know, if it was somebody who hurt you so badly and you could never gather up the courage to tell them what they did to you, how they hurt you, and how you're happy they're gone, you know, however you want to slice it. Because there are a lot of people that have been silent. They had no other choice but to be silent. Because for some of us, it's just not possible. It just doesn't feel like it is. It's just like you want to scream the words and the words don't come out. But when there is no longer the chance that they can hurt you again, they have no choice but to listen. You know, I'd like to think that those folks are hanging around and hearing that shit too. And maybe if they hear enough people say it, they realize just how crappy they were in life. And maybe that messes with them. Maybe it doesn't, but it at least makes their victims feel better. Don't know where I stand on things, but I know that the idea of death would not be scary if I knew there was something after. I hope there is.